It just comes down to a couple of plays.
That's football, though.
But it is, it is football, but especially when it comes down to a 1-point game, there definitely were a few plays that mattered more than other plays. That's why I'm so excited for this next segment that we've got on Monday mornings. We're going to be taking an inside scoop at some of the turning point plays in the game with our inside linebacker, Todd Davis. So let's get into the inside scoop, baby. Let's go. We've got a really cool way of doing this. Todd has some plays that he's picked out, and we've got an iPad that he's going to go through and diagnose these plays. Now, because the NFL is the no fun league, we can't actually play the plays or else we will get in big trouble. So what we can do is we can take screenshots of plays and break them down. So Todd Davis has an iPad, and he is going to take us through some of these crucial plays in the game and show us. If you're watching on YouTube, this is definitely going to be the best way to do this. If you're listening on the podcast side, either flip over to YouTube or we're just going to kind of talk to you about what's going on in these plays. All right, Todd, what are we looking at first?
All right, first play we got is the onside kick, and what we talked about before, there was an illegal touching too early, which you can see right here. But I don't think he's even supposed to grab the ball. The ball's supposed to go right here to 21. So he could either take a step back or he's supposed to go block this player here, and the ball's supposed to come all the way here. And as you can see, the depth of this player is why they felt like we could attack this area right here. So
what you're saying is Traymon Smith isn't even supposed to get the ball. He's a blocker and let it go to the outside guy.
Exactly. So because of the depth of this player, they saw this opening right here. Because that's usually where you want to hit onside kicks. So they're trying to get the ball all the way through to this player right here so they can come and catch the onside. And like you said, it's only 1 yard away right here from it being a great play. But unfortunately, that's a player error. He has to be able to either take a step back. I know he's a blocker, but he can wait. He has time in this scenario because I think the ball gets here and we still get it before they have time to make it happen.
Man, what a player error. But also, how is this not preached by the coaches? Like, do not touch it. It is not your ball. And that's so frustrating because, Todd, when you break it down in that last film, what are we talking? 7 yards of separation there where the ball could land?
And the tough part, though, is, again, like, he was farther behind. Ball just kicked up and back a little bit instead of just going.
But that's onside
tough.
Kicks. Like that,
you're
literally hoping for weird bounces.
But weird bounce is what caused the problem.
It happens every play, though, on an onside kick.
Not like that. It doesn't matter.
And it's tough because it was such a great play call with the depth of this. I guarantee you the rest of the season, they're going to move this player. They're not going to have him back as far, the Raiders. He's going to be moved up and be ready for this onside kick from now on. But it was a great call, in my opinion, because it was so close. And even with the ball bouncing around, we get back on it. But it just was the illegal touching that stopped us from having a great play to start the game.
What's so crazy to me is that they were able to see this on film last year, and it was still the same this year. So that just must be how it's. I don't think that player is making a mistake. It's just how the Raiders coach their special teams.
Yeah, that's an alignment error, all by the coaching staff. He's lined up exactly where the coaches have been telling him to line up. And sometimes there's people that go back and watch all your film and tell you, how you're doing on kickoff or how you're doing based on percentages and covering kicks. But sometimes they don't go and look at alignments. And literally, this alignment could have been a big loss for them, but it ended up working out.
Man, I love this breakdown. By the way, this is so freaking cool, Todd. The comment section, absolutely loving it. So if you like it, hit us with a thumbs up. It helps us a lot.
All right, these are two dynamic guys. These are my guys, Pastors Tan and Justin Simmons. They're man-to-man on these two receivers right here, which I think is Jacoby and Devontae Adams.
So really quick, Todd, let me just set the scene. 4th and 1 in the first quarter. That first drive by the Raiders. They're at the Broncos 35.
Yes, so it's a very important play because this ends up leading to them getting the first touchdown, first score of the game. So they're gonna motion down a little bit, and then they're gonna run a pick route. So they're just trying to get in the way and confuse these two defenders right here. So Jacoby's gonna come down. I know we can't see it, and then Devontae's gonna come up and get in the way and try to confuse Pat Surtain and Justin Simmons, and then Jacoby's gonna leak out. Well, what happens is that I think there's a lack of communication right here between Justin and Pat, and they kind of both followed Jacoby, even though Justin had hit Devontae so well, he kind of nutted up the play to start, but just because of the protection that Jimmy G has, he has time to roll out of the pocket when, in reality, they actually did a great job of stopping the play. Then over time, I think Devontae gets lost in the shuffle of everybody moving. Everybody's going to the sideline as they see Jimmy G, and he kind of just leaks back a little bit and finds this opening as everybody ran to the sideline because Jacoby is the number one target on that. So they did a great job eliminating that. They just have to be able to have great communication, like, hey, if he goes out, then I got to hit and lock. I got to hit and stay on that guy so that when he leaks, I can stay in coverage and then we can have them both covered up.
And it seems like on the boundary that'd typically be Pat's responsibility to drop back because you have Justin up there, and typically, like, if it's more of like a cover 3 build, Justin's probably responsible for the flat with Pat over the top. Now, Pat has to come down because otherwise that's open there.
In this specific play, I think they're playing man-to-man.
Okay.
I think they're mano-a-mano. Everybody is lined up. He's
true.
here for the QB sneak or the dive. I think everybody's manned up. We're man here, we're man here. Everybody's manned up. So it's on these two players to say, we used to call it tango, like me and you, like us two. You're on the outside, I'm on the inside. Whoever goes out, you got. Whoever's comes inside, I got. And I think that's what they were playing right here.
I'm so happy you brought up this play because speaking of frustrating, this was such a frustrating play because it's Devontae Adams is the one who slides open. But it makes sense because, and especially when you're watching it, Jimmy G's just floating back and then starting to float backwards. And you're like, the Broncos have this.
Exactly.
And then it's Devontae that just slides open. So I'm really, it's awesome to see how that happened because it was so, like, if it's Jacoby that's sliding open, it's like, okay, well, they were just too focused on Devontae. But when it was Devontae, it was like, no, that's the one guy you can't just let leave open.
Yeah, and it's tough because, like I said, they did a great job of stopping it initially. And just as time goes on, sometimes you lose guys in coverage, and that's exactly what happened.
And I feel like when Jimmy's dropping back, you can just feel him being like, oh, shit, this isn't going to work. And then somehow he just slides open.
Yep. So this is another play here for the Broncos. This is going to be the touchdown to Cortland, which I think he did a great job. So he's running the over here. You're going to have the back leak out here. You're going to have – so the defense was 100% ready for it. You have this defender right here looking for the over.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't have the deep route. Oh, here it goes. He's coming running straight to Cortland. So it's actually a good play by the Raiders. They have everybody locked up.
Yeah.
But Cortland does a great job of as soon as Russell Wilson starts to scramble and get out of the pocket here, he finds a way to make room. They have there's like in the scramble drill, there's a saying that if you're deep, you want to come short. If you're short, you want to go long. But the only problem with this when you're in the end zone is I can't really come forward because I want to stay in the end zone. I want to be able to make a play here.
Right.
So Cortland does a great job of giving him a nice hesitation and finding space because the defender is turned to the quarterback, so he doesn't know where Russell is. So he gets a nice little juke move, comes back on the inside, and Russell's able to deliver a nice ball. And I thought that was a great job of Cortland finding a way to get open on a play that was really well defended.
And a play that is really tough to get open because, like you said, there's really nowhere for him to go. So he did a good job. It was a hesitation move.
Exactly.
Because that sold the defender that he was going to stop or go the other way. And then because we see it from one frame to the next, he's completely covered. And then the next frame, he has, what, 1.5 yards, 2 yards on him?
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. So that's just being a veteran by Cortland. I think that he just – used his ability to shake and get open and made a veteran play and was able to get a big touchdown for us because if you look at it, everybody's covered. There's nowhere really to go with this football if Cortland doesn't make that, that nice move to get open.
Man, such a great breakdown there. And you're right. He couldn't come closer. He couldn't go further.
Yeah. That's all it was. So this is the next one. This is a nice run by Samaje P. Ryan.
So we're looking fourth quarter, 10 minutes left. Brought ball on the Raiders' 20-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Broncos.
This is hard-nosed football. This is what the plays I would love to make and the plays I love to play against. So they're just going to run a power right here. So then they're going to have Quinn Miners block. They're going to have the fullback come and seal off this end. And Samaje is supposed to come right up the middle to in between those two players and basically hit his head on the goalpost. So as you see this play develop, Quinn Miners actually misses his block. So from here, everybody is coming up. Ooh, let me see if I can erase it and go back. The tight end comes and does a great job sealing off the edge, blocking his defender out. Quinn Miners is going to come up through this gap. You're going to have a block down here. Quinn Miners is supposed to come up and seal this linebacker so that he can't come down to make the play. Well, he misses this block, and this linebacker absolutely fires and shoots the hole. And Samaje makes a great play by making this guy miss. But if you look at the play, we're blocked here, and if Quinn Miners turns, Samaje should run and hit his head on the goalpost. There should be if he's able to make this block right here, and it takes just a little trip. All he has to do is get in his way. If he doesn't have to use extra effort to make this guy miss, there is nobody out here. There's the wide receiver is doing a great job on his block, and literally, and you can still see it with all this space and room. Like, if this person's not here, we're running for days.
And just look at Quinn's body right there. That
he knows, like, oh man, I missed my block.
Yeah.
So that's why I say, like, we talk about coaching, but sometimes this is a simple player mistake. And it's not like not a horrible play, but it is a play that is costly because it could have led to a touchdown.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? This would have been like a third. What yard line we on? We're
20.
talking about a 20-yard touchdown run. Like, that's a big play.
Yep.
So I think that these are the kind of things that they're going to have to clean up for them to be successful. And that's all just about a player remembering to come as tight as he can and look inside out instead of outside in.
And if that's a touchdown, Broncos score 20 points. Broncos probably win the game.
Yep. Oh, we never talked about Will Lutz because he hasn't missed the field goal.
Exactly.
He even still has the missed extra point, but it doesn't come up.
Yep.
All right, this is the last play. This is 2nd and goal. That eventually leads to another Bronco kick, which should have been a touchdown. Right up here, we're running an RPO. Russ is running an RPO, so you're going to have Samaje Perine, who is running a dive, and they could decide to hand it off or they could pass the ball. And who's this wide receiver? Brandon Johnson.
Oh, okay.
So they run the RPO. He's reading this linebacker right here. And if you see him, he's waiting, but he's taking two steps in. So he's like, okay, I'm going to hit the RPO right here, and we're going to score a touchdown. Well, the problem on this play is Brandon Johnson comes too far inside on his route. What they want him to do is they want him to stay outside and have a 2-on-1 on this safety. You're going to have the tight end to the flat, or you're going to have Brandon Johnson sitting right here. And now the corner is going to have to make a decision. Do I take this tight end, or do I take Brandon? So if he's sitting right here, it's going to be a quick pass, and he'll fall in the end zone. If the corner's on him, then we're going to throw it to the tight end, then he'll run in the end zone. It should be an easy play. But what he does is he comes too far inside, which allows the linebacker to recover, to get back out there. And now this is, we lost 4 points just off of the ability to sit down early and not float inside. And once again, I think it could be coaching, just reminding that player to find this pocket, find this window. But it also, as a player, like, you got to know to sit here because – now we're talking about the score is 20-10 going in, 9 minutes into the fourth quarter. That's a much different game for the Broncos. So just some mental errors there, some mistakes, some good plays that we saw, and I think that they can learn and grow. That's why I have confidence in them because, if he's 2 yards more outside, now we're talking about touchdowns. They're making some good plays. They just got to put it all together.